After that, I pretty much healed from my eating disorder completely in less than 6 weeks. Started just shedding weight that my body didn't want anymore.
10, 9, 8.
How do you turn this thing on? Can gut health really help weight loss? In this video, we're going to take a look at the facts, and I'll tell you what I've experienced in my life. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kara. I'm a holistic gut health specialist and nutritionist, and the name of the game in lifestyle change is sustainability. I'm here to help you do that. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so you never miss another video and another opportunity to help you reach your own goals. I know how frustrating it can be to diet, exercise, and do everything you've been told by the experts and still not shed a pound or even gain weight. I really have gone through that myself. I've gone through it for years, and gut healing was a tool that I used to not only heal my ability to lose weight. I helped repair my metabolism. It was my brain too that started to improve, and I started to feel like I wasn't depressed anymore. And truth be told, this has just been a game changer for me. I used to be on Prozac for years, and while they helped in the short term, it was not a long-term solution for me. I had to actually stop taking those because it wasn't doing good anymore. And so once I started to learn more about natural health and the healing of the gut, and I started to see in less than 2 months how much different I was feeling for the first time in my life, I was hooked for life. In the past, maybe you've heard somebody talking about how when they healed their gut, they were able to effectively lose weight. So is that really what caused the weight loss, or what's actually happening here? There's some human and animal studies research on this topic, and sometimes when you're reading an article on gut health and how it's influenced a certain area, you also notice in the end it brings up a lot more questions than what they even started with, which even though we do have a lot of information and a lot of research backing up the importance of gut healing in multiple areas, this is a thing. Needless to say, we do still have a lot to learn, and we know that our gut health influences our mental health and our digestion. And you can pretty much type in any single condition that they have a name for and gut health attached onto that, Google it, and you'll come up with something connecting the two. Same as for weight loss. You can find a lot of information on gut health and weight loss, and this is what I found to be the most illuminating when I was doing my research in this article. They studied obesity patterns in mice. In the lab, they took gut bacteria from a mouse that was lean and then one from a mouse that was obese, and they put that bacteria inside the intestinal tract of a sterile mouse. So this mouse was actually genetically bred inside the lab. They put bacteria from the lean mouse in one of those sterile mice and bacteria from the obese mouse in another sterile mouse. The sterile mouse that got the lean bacteria stayed lean, and the mouse that got the obese bacteria gained weight and became obese. So in this study that they did, gut health definitely does influence weight. I know this is pretty dense information, so if you're following with me so far, type yes, I'm following in the comments section. The research from this study supported the role of gut health in managing weight and obesity. So then the question becomes more about the chicken or the egg. Which one came first? Does somebody become obese or overweight and then their gut bacteria changes? Or does the gut bacteria influence somebody's tendency to gain weight or become overweight? Like all things, there are more factors at play. What is somebody's given caloric consumption? What is their activity level? What are their lifestyle factors? Do they have toxicity in their environment? What is their genetics? There's so many components at play, but gut bacteria being one of those factors is definitely something worth looking at, and definitely a factor as well. So based on this study, in theory, if somebody wanted to lose weight and not be obese anymore, they would have to change their gut microbiome or nurture it in some way. Another factor I want to bring up is through other studies, we know that diet influences the gut microbiome. Following the standard American diet that's pretty rich in trans-saturated fats, packaged and processed foods, high in calories, carbohydrates, and added sugars, then that is going to change your gut microbiome in a way, and it's also have an influence on your body's ability to manage blood sugar. And there's something called insulin resistance, where our blood sugar becomes higher and higher as our cells become less sensitive to the hormone insulin, which helps transport glucose and sugar inside the cell, so the cell can actually use the sugar for energy. If you're eating a diet high in added sugars, insulin resistance starts to become a problem, and there are varying degrees of it. I actually had this at one time. I had it in the form of prediabetes. That's when it starts to begin, and if it keeps going down the wrong track, then you end up with full-blown diabetes type 2. Additionally, the standard American diet is really low in fiber, which doesn't provide our digestion the support that it needs well, and it certainly doesn't support our gut bacteria, which we know thrive off of prebiotic fibers from fibrous foods. Presence of a lot of sugar, a fungus called Candida can start to overgrow, and Candida naturally occur in the gut, but with sugar it can grow out of a population that's healthy, and that can also cause us a lot of problems. We can be more prone to infections, we can get problems with our skin. I had excess Candida and I had a rash on my face. I'm saying that if you're on a standard American diet and you're trying to reduce your weight, it's going to be harder because those foods are naturally more inflammatory in nature. You might be able to do this, but the health of your gut probably isn't going to be the best that it probably could be. If you were eating more whole foods, fruits and vegetables, proteins, foods that are whole in nature. We always hear stay away from cholesterol, transaturated fats for our heart health, but we also need to consider how that is affecting our metabolic health, our brain health, and our gut health, because it's all connected. The gut is actually the first place that the food is processed, so impacts there first. And that's why when you start to heal the gut, what I know to be true in my personal experience in working with my clients is that when you start to nurture the gut and make the gut healthy, your nutrient absorption becomes better, you start to feel more stable mentally, and that gives you an increased ability to abide with health habits, have better motivation, your sleep improves, and your energy level improves as well. So then all of those things, they make it easier for you to pursue a weight loss journey. And so I think gut health, if it's not directly correlated with our weight, I also know this secondary effect to be true as well, the way that it allows us to function better and absorb our nutrients really well. And if you're tackling any sort of mysterious health problem, the first thing you're going to want to do is start to look at your gut health and reducing inflammation and doing things like reducing your stress, taking out your food sensitivities, and making sure that you're doing a gut health protocol are going to really be a strong foundation for you as you navigate what it is exactly that you're healing. And food is not the only thing that causes inflammation and prevents people from losing weight too. Toxins from the environment, heavy metal poisoning, drugs, and alcohol, those can all put our body in an inflamed state where the body wants to hang on to weight and shove things inside of our cells to get rid of the toxin load because it's just too much for our liver to process. So then in turn, we end up storing more fat away because our body is not capable of dealing with all of it in a quick enough manner. It's important to be mindful of these as we examine our life for what we want to take out and what we want to bring in. So how do you figure out where to go from here? First step that you can do, as we were mentioning before, is removing your stressors. So examine any sort of toxicity you have. Make sure to drink filtered water that is clean and free of impurities. Make sure heavy metal toxicity is not a problem. Just be mindful if you have a copper IUD, you could be at risk for heavy metal poisoning of copper. That happened to me, and it was confirmed with hair samples and muscle testing. Focus on slow, steady, and incremental changes. Changing too much at once can really cause you to fall off track and not make any meaningful change at all. If you'd like to learn more about healthy habits, I would watch this video. Start adding in more probiotic foods, shooting to add 1 per week and eating them like a small amount every single day and slowly increasing them. Also, replace added sugars in your diet. Things like from Starbucks drinks, condiments, those things all have added sugar in them, and start focusing on what you can control. So let's say you like to go to Starbucks in the morning and get like a latte and like a muffin. Those things have a lot of added sugar in them. So what you can do instead is, still want to go to Starbucks, go there and then get a latte with no sweeteners added, or you can get black coffee with a splash of milk or cream, and then stevia. And then what I would suggest for something to eat is making your own breakfast muffins at home. I have plenty of those things on my Instagram if you would like to check those out. The link is in the description. Prepare those and put them in the freezer, so you're only having to do it like once every 2 weeks, and make a couple versions of them. And that's an example of something small you can do, and just focus on getting that nailed down first before you start changing your other meals, unless you feel like you can already. But small positive changes will really change your life and really make it easier for you to keep these things in. And in my experience, what happened with me was, if you've watched my binge eating recovery video before, you know that I healed my gut. After that, I've pretty much healed from my eating disorder completely in less than 6 weeks. And it was just like this complete transformation. I started just shedding weight that my body didn't want anymore. I had a lot of toxicity that I had to address. I had a lot of blood sugar imbalances. As I was mentioning before, I was pre-diabetic. Is anybody else in this situation? Type "that's me" in the comments if you're dealing with something similar, because I know I'm not alone in this. There's so many of us that need to take this gut healing thing to heart and really start seeing what we can do daily to improve the health of our gut and live longer, healthier, and happier lives. And I just really want that for you. I know that you can have it. I care so much about your health, and that's why I'm making this video, honestly. And so I personally would not take time to tell you this if it didn't matter to me, and it didn't matter to me what you're going through in your health as well. So I'm gonna link a video at the end screen that I did earlier this week about gut healing and depression. People need to hear this, and we all deserve to be our healthiest, happiest self. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.